Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Bringing you the best in local sports since 1978. Featuring the Greenfield Gunner, Mike Edwards, former Maryville Scot, Donnie Moore, former UT coach, Ray Trail, from the Daily Times, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Troy Pro O'Haron.
Greetings, everybody, from Blue Tick Tavern in Maryville, home of the tastiest pizza in Blount County. I'm Troy Pro O'Haron, filling in for Mike Edwards, who is currently getting beat up by the Ball State Cardinals in the state of Indiana. And we're wishing him all the best of luck and a healthy return next week. But until then, I will fill in his place and try not to send this show underwater. Charlie, don't give me that look. Let's run through the lineup today. First, we're going to start with talking about the Go Vols report, talking about Tennessee and Pittsburgh and the Johnny Majors Classic. Then we'll jump to the SEC notebook, look around at the best games in the SEC. Donnie Moore will give us a local scoreboard, and then Marcus will pick us back up with our Battle of Pistol Creek winners, the Alcoa Tornadoes, then the Heritage Mountaineers, who won the bell last night, Donnie.
They did, yeah. Not had it for a long time. They've not even seen it for a while. So
they won the bell last night.
Congratulations to the Mountaineers.
And they'll come and sit here and talk to us in our Player of the Week segment. And then we brought our former leader, now soon to be departed leader, Charlie Palaio, to talk about the Major League Baseball playoff race. And
talking like he's almost dead, huh?
Let's clarify that. Charlie's moving. He's not dying.
Well, he might die during the move, I don't wish that on him. I mean,
nice.
You know, I love Charlie, but
be nice.
And then
so does the Astros.
The Astros love Charlie.
Here we go. All right, you haven't even started yet.
And then we will end the show with some Week 2 predictions. We did so last week, guys. Not a mixed bag, so we'll try and be better this week. But, Ray, I want to start with Tennessee and Pittsburgh. But I do want to start with this before we get to that game. Tennessee entered the top 25 for the first time under the Josh Heupel era. Yeah. First time since October 11th, 2020.
And what a bad ranking that was.
24? Oh, the 2020. Yeah, that one didn't pan out. I know you're not very fond of who Tennessee beat up on last week, as they beat up on Mike Edwards in Indiana currently. But, Ray, when you look at this, when you look at Tennessee being number 24 in the country, just how important is that? I mean, considering where this program was less than 2 years ago.
Well, I don't go by anything that we haven't done anything yet. I mean, we haven't played anybody yet. We'll find out more today. And I'm not one to brag on moving up when you beat a team like that we played. And I just think that, I think the thing is still out. Where are we? If Hooker gets hurt, we're in trouble. Yeah. We're really in trouble, and I'm disappointed with the running game. We just seem to keep grabbing people and putting them in there, trying to figure out something. But I just don't. I don't have any confidence in the team, and if it's raining in Pittsburgh today, it's going to be a bad day. I mean, any day that it rains on Tennessee, because we do rely on throwing the game, throwing the ball, and that really hampers that. And I'm not sold yet. I'm not ready to jump to top 10.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I think we got a lot of improving to do, and over the whole thing. And I hate playing a team like we played last week. I mean, I really don't. You don't gain anything. You don't gain anything, and you don't know any more about a good team and how you're going to prepare for the next game, and because they should have take the film and throw it away. That's what I said last week. After you play one of these games, it's not a whole lot you can say and do because you're such an inferior opponent.
Right.
And I always hated those games. I mean, you could do as good scrimmaging yourself as you are playing those kind of games. And we'll see this week a little bit more. I'm not saying Pittsburgh can't be beat. I'm just saying we will know more about our team because they do have a good, strong defensive line. And we'll know more next week.
You look at it, I mean, I don't see how the voters – what do you go off of Ball State that made you think Tennessee moved in the top 25? It's not like it was Florida beating Utah.
Yeah.
It wasn't that kind of decisive game. So I don't know why you bank them up there, and at the same time you got 8 SEC teams ranked. Are there 8 top 25 teams in this conference right now? Really?
Maybe. I would say that I feel as if Tennessee obviously entered the season with a lot of hype. And if I'm being completely honest, given that hype, and I know that they ended last season with a loss in the bowl game, but I was almost a little bit surprised that Tennessee wasn't in the preseason top 25 to begin with, just given all the hype they had in the offseason.
Well, if you beat Purdue, maybe, but you don't.
You don't. And so I understood that, but I still was maybe a little bit surprised. And I think when you win that game, also added with some of the results that happened last week and just some ranked teams, it didn't surprise me that they entered it. But I do think it is a big deal. I mean, we're talking about 2 years ago, we're talking about nothing but NCAA violations and 30-plus kids transferring out. To be less than 2 years removed from that and being even in the top 25 consideration, to me, is applaudable for Josh Heupel.
Oh, it's definitely a great jump. I mean, he was looking at an ash pit when he came in here, and he's still going to be facing some former Tennessee players for a couple of years still in the conference.
Yeah.
But is it a legitimate top 25? Talk to me in November.
That's
and
exactly
we'll see.
right.
We'll see what it looks like at that point, whether it's legitimate.
We don't go by the start. I mean,
talk about the finish.
You look. Well, I mean, you just look now. There was a team that was ranked 5th, got beat by Florida, and I mean, that tells you that those rankings don't mean a whole lot. That's what it tells me, and right off the bat. It's just a matter of a popularity contest of who wants to say they're number 1 or 2. I thought Georgia played a great game, and I think Georgia actually should have been number 1 because they were more impressive playing their team than Alabama was. I mean, Alabama's guy throws for 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Not to mention they are the defending national champions.
Yeah, but still,
we
can't go by that. We can't go by that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to rate them the way they look. Now, I thought Georgia
looked like they were the best team.
They did.
Yeah.
They looked like they were the best team, most organized. They were just on the ball. I mean, they were really on it. And they didn't look like a first game play. I mean, they looked like they'd been practicing for 6 months.
Right.
I mean, they were really sharp. Everything executed well. I just thought they looked better.
Let's talk about this one. Vols and Pitt, number 25 versus number 17 in Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Home of the Steelers.
Home of the Steelers. I miss Heinz Field. Where's the ketchup?
On the hot dog?
Yes. Kickoff will be at 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Pitt 3-0 all-time against Tennessee. Obviously, last year, Pitt beat Tennessee Neyland 41-34. But Kenny Pickett, 24-36, 285 yards and 2 touchdowns last year. Biletnikoff winner Jordan Addison, 6 catches, 63 yards and a touchdown last year. Some good news for Tennessee and defensive coordinator Tim Banks. Both those guys are gone. Kenny Pickett, first-round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Jordan Addison was in the USC Pitt trade that sent Addison to USC and Keaton Slovis to Pitt in the transfer portal. And so, how big of a thing is that, Ray, that obviously last year Tennessee's big concern was not being able to stop Kenny Pickett, not being able to slow down those receivers. When you miss, how big of a deal is it for Pitt to miss 2 of those guys and have to kind of reload?
The way I look at it right now is Pitt's depending more on their defense now than they were there last year. They had the personnel last year to have a good offense, but their defense is really good this year. I mean, they've got the front 5 up there that are really good. The main thing they got to do is not make the big mistakes, throw the interception, fumble the ball or whatever, to stay in the ball game, because I think their defense is going to be tough, because our offensive line is not a proven that they're superior to anybody. I mean, they kind of know who to block, but sometimes they don't get them blocked. But I think that's the whole deal there, is don't make the mistakes early for either one. You know, I think that's going to be the downplay. I don't know what the weather is in Pittsburgh. Is it raining there today? I
Hopefully
don't
it's
know.
better than it is here.
Huh?
Hopefully it's better than it is here.
I do too. But if it's bad, it favors Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And because that messes up your passing game, and it also messes up a lot of other things that you would normally try to do that you won't do in the rain. You know,
And that's, I think that'll balance out a little bit, Ray, because watching Pitt against West Virginia, if there's anything Pitt's worked on over the last 10 days, it's trying to figure out how to run the ball.
Oh, yeah.
They could not run the ball against West Virginia. And quite frankly, when they could, that pass rush gave them problems were the drives where Pitt just stalled. The only times they were successful was when they could protect the quarterback and throw the football. And that offensive line, I mean, it was like Rogers on Newman Heating and Cooling. They were hot right here and cold right here, and there was no method of madness as to when they were hot or cold.
Oh, I agree. But I think West Virginia was a good, but not a great team, but they were a good team. They had some good players, and we just got to play a solid game and not try to rely on the long pass all the time, and they're going to definitely rush our quarterback. I mean, and he's good enough to get out and run and stuff like that, but it depends on the weather. I mean, he'll be nullified running, because they're going to just bring everybody up a little bit closer, and it's going to be a decent game. Last year here they won by touchdown, 7. And so I feel like I think it'll be about the same way, and I hope we can win by 7. But like I said, there's a lot going into this game now. There's a lot of different things, and I've said this before, and I don't think that last game for us was any indication of what we're going to play. I mean, I think it's going to be a different type game, and very interesting game. But I've always been against that opener that you pick up somebody that's not even in your realm. I mean, and then everybody thinks we scored 50 points. Well, we've scored 50 points on a lot of people.
Marcus, I'm going to let you talk in a second. We got our local meteorologist, Charlie Paleo, in the Sports Page weather station, and he wants to give an update from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh weather. Game time, 77 degrees, 2% chance of rain. Sunny, beautiful day in Pittsburgh.
Beautiful day in Steel City.
Favors the Volunteers then, according to Coach Trail.
That's
And the Pirates.
Right, definitely.
And the Pirates.
Yeah, definitely favors Pittsburgh.
Detroit.
Yeah.
No, I meant
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Can both teams really legitimate? I mean, both of them are talking playing the underdog card this week.
Yeah.
How do you play the under? I mean, it's a top 25 matchup, better or worse, but both teams are playing the underdog card because the line has got Tennessee favored by 7 on the road
Yeah.
at Pitt against a higher ranked team.
Yeah.
And Tennessee lost last year. And now, granted, again, I believe that Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison were a huge part of why Tennessee lost last year. And so Pitt having to beat Tennessee today without those two dudes in its lineup is a little bit different. And I'm not the biggest Keaton Slovis fan. But I think Tennessee should probably feel like they're not an underdog. They should probably go out there and win this game because I think they are the better team.
Oh yeah, I think they can score.
I think we're in for a track meet. Just going off how Heupel has matched up against that defense, it's been a track meet type of. It's been, Pitt put up 40 last year. They put up 40, I think, both times before they played against a Heupel offense. They capitalize on getting the ball back.
Yeah, and the over/under is 64.5, and this guy
I think that's 20 points low.
And this guy right here has money on over 64.5, so put it in the end zone. Marcus, you actually give me a good segue here, and I'll go back to some previous thoughts I had. But Tennessee has scored 45 points in 4 straight games, tying a program record set in 1993. They obviously get a chance to break that today. Do they do it?
who cares? Win the game.
That's kind of where I am.
I mean,
I don't know if they break it.
If they score 45
think
plus,
they
do they win?
I think they need to break it to win. I don't know that they will break it.
I just don't think you go into a game thinking if we can get 45. I mean, you better think if you can win the game, and you better start out it's 0-0, and all of a sudden you get hyped up thinking we're going to just blow this bunch out, and it don't work that way.
Tennessee needs 2 scoring drives a quarter.
Yeah,
And at that rate, I think they hold the ball like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They're capable of doing it. No doubt about that. They are.
Oh, I'm not saying
it.
they can't do it.
It's
but
just to keep the defense
as
rested.
a coach, as such, I don't go into a game saying we got to get 45. I want to win the game. And you get to thinking that we got to do this and we got to do that to get 45 or 50 points. The basics are not there. And you got to think, win the game. I don't care if it's about 3 points. I don't care what it is. We just want the W. That's all I want.
Well, Ray, you've talked about Tennessee not getting its best challenge last week in Week 1 in a 59-10 victory over Ball State. But last week in the Backyard Brawl, I mean, you could really say that Pitt should be 0-1 right now. They didn't deserve to win that game. It took an active cowardice from West Virginia coach Neil Brown to not go for it on 4th and half a yard. And then, obviously, even then, when it's high game, West Virginia's driving down the field. They throw a hitch to a wide receiver who has nobody in the frame if you're watching on television. He can't catch it. It pops up in the air, and it goes for a pick 6. How does Pitt feel going into this one, knowing that we didn't play our best football in Week 1? We probably should have lost. We just found a way to miraculously win.
Well, I'd rather be in Pitt's than Tennessee's.
You'd rather be tested.
Because at least they were tested, and you can go in and kick butt.
At least they knew what to work on this week.
Did. Yeah, right.
I mean, they had a litmus test to say we struggled running the ball.
Right.
We struggled in these particular defensive alignments. We struggled in protection. On defense, we had some issues stopping the run in these particular type of situations. Tennessee doesn't have anything like that, except in these particular situations against Ball State, we had to wipe Ball State receivers off the bottom of our shoes. That's all they had to work on was cleaning up the cleats afterwards.
I'm going to send you to Indiana next. The key to this game, Ray, and you've touched on a little bit, pass rush. Pitt, 3 sacks against West Virginia, but they also gave up 5 sacks. Tennessee, 0 sacks against Ball State. I think if that's the one thing you looked at from last Thursday against Ball State, you said, that's Ball State. Where is the pass rush coming from to get 0 sacks against that team? I think is very worrisome. How important is it to kind of be able to generate a pass rush and kind of put Keaton Slovis under pressure like West Virginia did, and also be able to protect Hendon Hooker back there?
Well, the thing is there's just so much you can do prior to going into the game. You can't come back and say now we're going to rush the passer or whatever. This is something that has to be started with, and the thing is, it all goes back down, of course, and I'm an old line coach, offensive line and defensive line. You got to have those two things to be very successful. If you're offensive minded, throw the ball. What if it rains? What if it's muddy? What if it, there's a lot of things that goes into this, and you have to have. The thing I really think is we don't have the balance on they're going to rush 3, defend with 8. And they're going to make you throw the short passes. And that's the whole deal when you put it all on. If you can't run the ball, you're really in a kind of like a one-armed man in a fist fight. And that's just the way it is. I mean, you got to have your balance there, and you're going, like I said, you're going to run against teams that rush 3 and defend with 8, and then they're going to say throw it. Sure. We'll have more people back there than you got, and if I were playing Tennessee, that's what I would do.
I think it comes into play too with Coach Trail saying, you get Tennessee inside the 20-yard line, that field shrinks, and that passing game kind of limits them to what they can do. That's where you need
to
need
run
the
the
running
ball.
game.
That's
that
right.
could separate a touchdown from a bunch of field goals, and
That's
that could
right.
be the difference in the game.
I would counter that with saying I thought that was something that was really important in Ball State's game. Again, against Ball State, I know, but the fact that Tennessee was so willing to utilize Hendon Hooker in the quarterback run game, I think, is something that opens that up. If you're going to pressure 3 and drop 8, Hendon Hooker's going to run for 150 yards today.
That's true. He's a big factor, no doubt.
The thing is, now, if you remember back last year, we had several times that Hooker came to the bench hurt, and
You have to avoid that with him running, but
you don't want
you don't want him playing scared either.
Right.
But he may be your best runner too.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But
You don't want
did
that
look
guy
better
getting-
several times where he would go ahead and go out of bounds.
Yeah.
He wasn't lowering his
Could
head to
avoid
take
the
on a
hit.
linebacker like he did several times last
I
year.
think he knows he has to do that. But once again, this game kicks off at 3:30 p.m. on ABC. And for listeners here, we have a very special story time with Brian Johnson here. But I do want to do one thing real quick. Charlie, season prediction. You knew Tennessee was going to beat Ball State anyway, so it doesn't affect it at all.
This isn't
It doesn't
fair.
affect it at all. Charlie, your Tennessee season prediction, you weren't here 2 weeks ago to give it. We need it. What do you got?
Well, it doesn't change every year. They're going to boat race everybody. They're going to whip Pittsburgh today by like 25 points. Wow. They'll beat either Alabama or Georgia, one of them.
You got 11-1.
They're going to go 11-1 this year.
The playoff?
But they're going to lose the bowl game.
So 11-1 probably gets them in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, but they'll lose that game.
Okay.
I was a little conservative last week.
Okay.
I said Charlie would say 10-2.
No, I thought about it. I think they're going to get either
I thought
Alabama
everybody
or Georgia.
should get a re-pick, except for me because I was already conservative. But after the Florida game,
No,
I
you
think
weren't.
everybody would be lowering
You were
theirs down
conservative.
back in
You
number.
buried Tennessee in the ground.
We'll have to
Well,
see
we'll
what
see.
Florida and Kentucky do today. That's
Pitt might do that. Start that tonight.
Well, we're going to go ahead and turn to the SEC notebook. And Brian, I really wanted to dedicate this time to you giving us your trek through the SEC last
this
weekend.
I was the SEC notebook over the weekend.
Indeed.
Okay.
We sent Brian on the road.
Yeah, I went down to Tuscaloosa. I had never been down there to see a football game, so me and my 4 boys, we headed down to Tuscaloosa and ran smack dab into a ticket issue that'll come in second. But we were told by my good friend Mick Gillespie, who is the voice of the Tennessee Smokies, who, by the way, the Smokies clinched a playoff berth last night for the first time since 2013.
There we
So
go.
almost a decade since the Smokies have been in the playoffs, and they're one of our sponsors.
Hey, playoff
And-
baseball and Kodak.
Yeah, playoff baseball. So if anybody wants to come watch the Smokies Tuesday night, playoff baseball. You know what playoff baseball like? They
Yeah.
fight. It's all it's crazy. It's craziness. So anyway, so we go. Mick tells us to go to one place, which was, I'm going to go ahead and say bad advice.
Okay.
Where Mick told us to
Not
go.
from that source.
Because Mick is the voice of Bama Insider. So he's down there doing his own show down there. So I figure I got some local knowledge. I go down to the Regions Bank downtown where he tells me, oh, it's free. Everybody parks down there. It's free. We drive around for a bit, can't find anything. And then all of a sudden, the C's part, and there's this beautiful parking space. And we're like, this really can't be real, can it? So we pull in, and I say to one of my sons, hey, jump out and ask these folks here if this parking space is real. He jumps out. They said, oh, yeah, come on, join us. So this is the part where the Vol fans are not going to like, okay? These Alabama fans were so nice. They treated us with such grace. I've got new friends in Allen and Shay and Wendell, and they fed us. They let us park for free. The food was great. We got to watch football while we waited. They told us all the things we needed to do. It was fantastic. So from that standpoint, my experience tailgating at the University of Alabama, not as I wasn't there as a Utah State fan, but just as a fan of college football, they were very inviting. So we told them we were from Knoxville. They didn't spit on us or anything, so that was great.
But you also told them you're a Florida State fan. Alabama fans aren't
We did.
fearing Florida
Well,
State fans.
We did pull in with we have the license plate on the front of the car, and they kind of knew. And my boys were like, "Yeah, we're all Seminoles. We're headed down to watch LSU play FSU in the Superdome." And so they were very kind and generous. But here's what happened. Here's the story you need to hear. Amy Woods, if you're listening to this, because I told you I would mention you, I'll forego the ticket fiasco because it would last the whole game. Let's just say game time ticketing stinks. Stick with StubHub.
Yeah.
But we missed the kickoff. We finally got inside. We walked to a place where somebody told us to go that wasn't accurate. We're about to die. We're like, we got to get to our seats. There's no way to cross over the field. But then Amy walks out like a beacon of light in a sea of darkness. Oh. There she is. And she says, where are you guys trying to get? And I said, well, we're trying to get over there. And she goes, well, come with me. Well, I didn't realize I was talking to the queen of Tuscaloosa at that moment. She carried us
Nick
down.
Saban's wife?
She took us through the Nick Saban. Listen, nobody's supposed to go through here. This special pass. We even got people were trying to tackle me and my son, and they're like, no. She's like, no. She throws the badge up. I'm Amy, and so he's like, whoa, sorry. Hey, come on. So we walked through where the Alabama players come out in the tunnel. We could have run onto the field basically at that point. But Amy took us directly to our seats, showed us exactly what we needed to do, was super gracious, just a fantastic experience. And we watched Alabama play, Utah State, which was probably like watching Tennessee play Ball State. Wasn't very exciting football. Are we against a break?
We are.
Well, I'm so excited about this because I don't have to hear you talk
But
about Florida State.
finish.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and finish.
You finish.
So we watched that. Everything was great. Going back to the car, everything was fantastic. The Alabama fans were just wonderful. We were wearing Florida State gear. Nobody was, spitting on us or throwing, or, like it is at Florida, throwing pee at us or anything like that.
It's the fun of it.
Yeah, so that was fantastic. Then we drove down to New Orleans, got in very late. There was a festival going on there that we didn't know about that I'm not sure my children needed to see any part of what that was.
That's just a regular Sunday
No,
in New Orleans.
you would think so.
I've been there. I
Yeah,
know.
this one was a little special. But some of our dear friends who own a restaurant in Tallahassee were having a tailgate. They were sponsoring the event. You may have seen their name, Couches, pop up on the screen. They were there, and we got a wonderful time at their tailgate. But here's the thing. Since they were a sponsor, they took us into the inner sanctum, the All-State VIP. Whew. Wow. Let me tell you something. They dropped some serious cash on that fun time inside the Sugar Bowl, the Superdome, because it wasn't the Sugar Bowl yet, but All-State was doing it. Fantastic, but here's the bad part. I'm a Seminole in the middle of a sea of tigers because I'm with them, and they're all tigers. So I watched that entire game
Fearing for your life.
as a Lone Ranger, basically. And let me tell you one quick, and if LSU fans are listening, you probably already know this. The scariest thing about LSU fans, the women, not the men, the women. There were more fights around us started by women than any of the men. The men were saying, hey, sweetheart, hey, take it easy now. It was more of that. But as you can imagine, the ending, heartbreaking for LSU fans, although we controlled the game. Let's just be real.
I don't want to talk about
We
it.
controlled the game.
I hate weeks for Florida State wins.
Yes, we controlled the
So,
game
I
in
don't
front
wanna
of
talk about it.
70,000 people, like the University of Miami controlled the game against Bethune-Cookman in front of 20.
No team has scored more points in college football than the Miami Hurricanes,
and
baby.
all 27 people in the stadium saw it. So that's important to understand. But what a finish! What a great week in the SEC. It was fantastic that my alma mater could beat the only SEC team to lose, right?
That's
Yeah,
All of them won. But let me tell you guys
And
something
Vanderbilt
else
found a way to beat
that
you
the LSU fans were complaining about going out, which should give Tennessee some excitement. They said, had we had a warm-up like Ball State, we could have won this game.
You see, Ray? The warm-up games are important.
Yeah, they're saying we would have at that point.
Everybody
we would
needs a jamboree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
everybody
needs a jamboree. They would have their special teams in order. It was a special teams debacle, really, for LSU. Really, it was that special teams. Could they have honed that in on a team like Ball State? Let's just talk special teams, not everybody else. But could special teams have gained some confidence by kicking the ball and receiving the ball and
Good snaps.
good snaps,
Good catches.
good catches?
Well, yeah, it's got the same thing as everybody else has.
Right.
I mean, you got to have the mindset is very important, and they blew it.
Yeah.
They sure blew it.
I'll say this:
Twice.
I mean, they
Florida
played.
State was very, very efficient when on those punt teams. They were right on the border, being too close, but
Right.
without crossing over, and they were a distraction. And it worked for them both times where the guy dropped the ball. You can see him look away from that ball and look at somebody on the field where he was looking to see if he was going to get hit.
I think Brian's just saying that Florida State doesn't win that game if they don't play Duquesne in week 1.
But I don't know if you figure that out against a Ball State, because I don't know if a Ball State's going to have a defender within 15 yards of that kick returner.
But at least that guy would be in front of thousands of fans, unlike at a Miami game. He'd be in front of thousands of fans catching the ball, thousands of fans
People are so rude.
receiving, a snap to put it on, for your kicker. I mean, those things you could still do. Those little things that matter. I mean, I thought that the fact that our kicker kicked the ball out of bounds twice on kickoffs, I thought that was going to be our undoing. That kind of stuff has to be cleared up if you're going to beat real teams.
Well, how about the fumble at the goal line, too?
Who calls that, by the way? I mean, if that's Norville calling that, he needs to be fired. Come on. Yeah. You're up a touchdown.
I've told
all
you
you
so
got to
many
do is
times
take
he's
a
not a good
knee.
coach.
Well, he beat Miami. So that's all it takes. Doesn't matter if you're a bad coach, you beat
You
Miami.
beat Manny Diaz. Who cares? Also a bad coach. Well, that's it for the Go
That's
Vols.
it. That's
Go
it.
Vols report and the SEC notebook. Stay tuned on the sports page for more from us.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union. With KTBA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
The Blue Tick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville.
Welcome back to the Goatee Sports page. And Donnie Moore, we're going to send it over to you for the local scoreboard.
Thank you, my friend. we do have some scores for you.
Couple good ones from last night,
Oh,
Donnie.
man, there's a couple of battles last night.
Some great ones.
Named battles, in fact. They were already named as far as that goes. We'll start off with the Battle of Pistol Creek.
A great one.
It was
Such
indeed
a good game.
a classic. Already a classic. It's only less than 24 hours old, and it's become a classic. Alcoa traveled over to Skeeter Shield Stadium last night and came away with a W, 27-14 against the Red Rebels. 27-14. That sounds pretty good for the Tornadoes, doesn't it? We've got 3 of them in the house today, and we'll talk to them in just a few moments.
And Donnie, let me kick something in for you last night.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Not to give too much to another station, but Alcoa football changed stations this year, kind of like we did, and they're over on 96.3. And Marty and Clanduncle have got the best transition, because you go from the Tent Revival Gospel Hour on Friday night straight into their opening intro from Alcoa.
Yes.
And I guess it's one religion to another, because it's a church service and a half when they come on the air. But
it sure is.
That is going to be the best transition in all of high school football this season.
Indeed. Those guys do a great job.
Oh, they were fantastic last night. They are pure entertainment.
They really are. Well, moving from one named battle to another, the Battle of the Bell last night over at Mike Whitefield at William Blount. And there's quite a bit of hype preceded that game last night. I always is the case in the Battle of Pistol Creek. But Heritage had a pretty good chance at winning that football game this season, and win it they did.
And they did.
38-20. William Blount came back a little bit in the second half. Heritage put a profound lead on William Blount in the first half, but all for naught as the Governors fall down in that game 38-20 at Mike Whitefield last night, and the Bell travels home to a new home.
Do they still have a space reserved for it? It's been a while since it's been over there.
Well, it's kind of covered up. May have to paint. They'll paint it for sure, a different color. And there are some spaces left on the sides of the Bell where they post the scores and paint the scores in. But yeah.
But that's not a light. You've moved that, Donnie. That's not a light trophy.
It is not. Back in 1997, when after the Heritage win in '96, Gary Stennett and I carried that rascal all the way across the field and loaded it up in John Davis's red Dodge Dually. John Davis, rest his soul, and the principal of William Blount at that time, and hauled it back to William Blount, where it had stayed for quite some number of years.
But that's a two-person job.
It is a two-person job.
It's not like that. You're lifting that beer barrel and one offensive lineman's holding it above his head. That's
not.
That's a weighty trophy for this series.
It is. It's a cast iron bale, and it's quite heavy.
We need a Battle of Pistol Creek trophy.
Yeah, we do. But it goes back to Heritage, and Scott Cupp, the AD at William Blount, has made his brags, and he will have to. And in fact, he probably already has, but he has ridden in the back of Robbie's truck today in the rain back to Heritage to accompany the Bell back to Heritage.
That's a brave soul.
He is. So he's.
Does he walk home after that's over, or does Robbie have to take him back over to William Blount?
I'd say somebody will have to haul him back home. Moving on to some other scores. Greenback visited Knox Webb last night, and the Spartans handed them a sound spanking, 48-7. Why are they playing Knox Webb anyway?
That's the game they've played several times.
They have.
That's been a long.
Yeah.
They used to be in the region together back in the day.
I think they did. You're right. But 48-7 was the final in that game last night. Seymour traveled to Cocke County, and good battle over there at Cocke County last night. The Fighting Cocks won over Seymour over the Eagles 16-13.
I was a little surprised by that one. I really didn't think Seymour was going to have trouble with the bigger team in this particular case. But
I didn't either.
Maybe Cocke County's a little bit better than we thought they were.
Well, that's possible. And the Kings Academy traveled to Knoxville Grace last night, and the Rams butted TKA,
awful.
28-8.
Boo, yes.
It's okay. It's okay.
That was a close game. The first quarter. Listening, I mean, it was what 7-7. I think almost to halftime.
How many radios do you have in your office?
A bunch.
Here's a satellite dish.
I also
up there.
have a police scanner and several other apps running in the background.
Oh goodness. Well, that's it for our local scoreboard for the week, and we'll take it back to Marcus right now. You're listening to WKCE 105.1 FM and 1180 AM Mid-Century Radio. Now to our veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons and his feature, Mark It Down.
Well, it's a good segue. We started with this, and Alcoa is in the house. And to give a little bit of toss out I guess one of the show's favorites. I mean, if repetition builds confidence, then Alcoa doing back-to-back appearances build confidence because we've got a whole new group of players.
Yeah.
Assistant coach Peyton James, defensive end Raleigh Long, and one of the heroes from last night, Jordan Harris. Jordan, I got to start with, how does the back feel? Because you must have gotten squeezed and pounded on after that win last night like nobody's business.
I'm hurting right now. I woke up this morning, I'm like, golly, I'm hurting.
But it was a good kind of hurt.
Oh, yeah. It felt good.
Start that game, great special teams play on the return. In that game with an interception return for a touchdown.
85 yards, no less.
To the house with it.
Indeed.
It's got to feel great for you all to get a good start and a good finish against Maryville and finish that thing off.
I love the feeling of being Maryville.
Now you all this is the first one.
That.
This is the first time for your class that you all beaten Maryville, right? Because it's 2018.
Yeah, all
2018.
years.
So, Coach, how does it feel to the coaching staff? I think you all were just about as much excited as the players were.
Man, it felt great. You talked about him hurting. I mean, from all the hugs and the handshakes and the high fives, my shoulders was hurting. But it feels great to get that win for Coach Nix. Coach Rankin left and goes to Boyd, and we really wanted this win for Nix. It's great. He's a Maryville alum. We had a good game plan drawn up. We knew that if we could get them lined up and we could run against them, we knew we were in good shape, and it feels great to go out there and get that win for Coach Nix and everybody at Alcoa.
Well, guys, let me from the players' perspective, you got the great return, start the game. You struggled a little bit on offense trying to punch that thing in, have a fourth down that doesn't convert, and when the fourth down fails, I'm thinking in my head, oh man, this is like a couple years ago. This fourth down could really turn it early. But you all didn't do that. This team bounced back really well, came back and got the opening and got on the board. So what happened for you all when you fail on fourth down and regroup? What happened for you all on the sideline there?
Coach always tells us just stay calm during stuff happen. If stuff happens bad, stuff's going to happen bad. He just always tells us stay calm.
What about for the defense to get the stop on Maryville at that point?
It was big. We needed to change momentum, so it was good.
And Coach, I'll bring this to you and for the defense as well, because you all were in the same meeting room there. Defensively, you all had a big task trying to slow down Maryville's backfield. And between second half, you come out and Maryville puts it together a long drive, eats 8 minutes off the clock. But after they did not seem to be able to capitalize after that. Their offense seemed to bog down. There had to be some kind of transition you all made to kind of stop Maryville after that long drive.
I'm an offensive coach. I wasn't in the defensive meeting at that time at halftime, but you got to shout out our defense. We had guys cramping. Aaron Davis played a great game. The defensive line played a great game. We had guys going down with cramps, and they were fighting to get back in. And that's a lot of what it is. It's just a fight. I mean, these kids they refused to lose last night, and you could see it. You could see it on the sideline. You could see it on the field. You could see it halftime and even pregame. You could see the look on their faces that they were focused and they were not going to leave that field without a win.
What was it like for you all after what's got said after that long Maryville drive? What did Coach Nix, kind of defensive coordinator that he is at heart, what did he have to say to you guys to get you turned around?
We knew we had to keep calm, keep going. I was trying my best to keep everybody positive, stay up, and focus on the next drive.
How big a difference was it in that situation because it could have been a little bit different, that after that long drive, you're tied and not down a score.
Yeah.
How did that affect? Like, did that make it easier to regroup and try to get back for the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it did, 'cause it makes it 0-0. You know, we gotta win the fourth, win each quarter, and we're good.
Coach, you said you're an offensive guy. A lot of things seem to be working well for you guys that we wondered if it would work against Maryville, but you were able to run the ball and throw the ball. Did that surprise you all as a coaching staff to see how well you were able to do with some of those things?
We knew that their secondary isn't as strong as it has been in the past, and so we knew we had some plays dialed up that were big play, that were chunk plays. So we knew that if we could run the ball, especially out of that ace personnel, that we were in really good shape because they would have to probably man us up on the outside, and we just didn't think that they had the dudes to do that. They're a great team. I mean, that's no knock against Maryville. We felt like we had a good game plan and we stuck with it. And we made a few adjustments at halftime, but I think we might have been a little bit surprised at how well we ran against them, especially with two sophomore offensive linemen.
And that was one thing on the opening first two drives, I think, that kind of surprised me. Y'all went with not really the jumbo, but you ran the same play a couple of times, and it was basically up the gut, and we're getting good yardage out of it. Mm-hmm. And that seemed to open everything up from that point once you were able to establish that.
Yes, sir.
Donnie, you were watching this, weren't you? He gives the nod.
Oh yeah, and I'm not surprised when Alcoa wins or when whoever they win against, because I know these guys. I know them well, and I know how they operate. I know how they're coached, and I know the athletes that Alcoa has, and I know that when you put them on the field. I know the bulldog mentality, and I know they don't like to lose.
I was trying to think of this morning on the drive in. Have we ever had an Alcoa coach start off 1-0 against Maryville? I was trying to think of the last one, and it's going to go back a ways.
It is going to go back a ways.
I think Coach Nix may actually be the first one to have a 1-0 record.
First one I remember, quite a while. But I'm telling you, this is a celebration. But I'm going to guarantee you one more thing: when Monday rolls around, these guys are going to get back to work.
It's back to work already.
I'm sure you're right.
Monday, it's back to work.
Okay. So the other bit of trivia I'll throw out there: since 2000, since this last great streak has started at Alcoa, every time they've beaten Maryville, it's been a 15-game state championship season. Mm-hmm. In the seasons they've lost to Maryville, they're still like 14-2 as far as getting reaching the state title game and winning after that. So it's a good matchup either way. Guys, what is Donnie's alluded to it, you have to start over, but you get to enjoy it at least today. How much of this, all those guys at Maryville, you've played against them, you've played with them in some cases in some sports. How much of that rivalry carried over to the field last night? Like, was it friendly, or was it?
When it's game time, nobody's our friend. So
it's all business.
Yes, all business at that point. But after the game, we all shook hands, and they already know.
And Coach, I'm going to bring this one up to you. There was one call we came to that was fairly close. We had a Maryville receiver catch the ball and called out of bounds, but defender did not see it, makes a hit. In those kinds of situations, I was going to lead to him. Those type of situations, it's very, very hard to make. I would think for the referee and for the player, because you don't know he stepped out.
Right, that was a bang-bang call. That was the definition of a bang-bang call. But, we were talking about that sitting over there before we came up, and I think that kind of was a momentum shift. That was a big hit that Jordan laid on that running back. I think it was two. I think he was flexed out at receiver, but that was a big hit he laid, and even the penalty upset us. I mean, I think that made that defense play even harder for the next little bit. And there were a couple calls that you don't always agree with, but it makes our dudes. That's why football is the best sport to emulate life, because things aren't always going to go your way. And sometimes people are against you, but they kept fighting, and they showed that resilience.
Jordan, for you on that play, I'm going to guess like it was like Coach said, bang bang. You never got a chance to see that they had signaled him out of
No,
bounds. Did you?
I didn't even. Yeah, I didn't think that he kept running. So I mean, I just hit him.
And when the flag came out, I wasn't on the sideline, but I could, like I said before, I could hear Marty. Coach Nix kind of came out and talked to you at that point. Was he telling you it was okay not to worry about it? Or
I asked him, did he think if it was a flag? He was like, no, but he was just like, go out there, you're good, just keep playing.
And then, what did that do for the defense for you guys when that call came down? Is it like Coach said? Was that in?
Yeah, it really triggered us to play harder because that gave them a free 15 and they get closer to the end zone. So we just knew that we couldn't let them score at that point.
And how big was it for you guys not to let them score before half and not let them tie it up and go the break tied and get the ball to start the second half? That was a huge drive to stop them on.
Yeah, that was huge. We wanted the lead going into half, because if we get the lead going into half, we got momentum coming out. So it was big time.
Guys, I'll ask you one more. There's some things that go on before this game, and I don't know how much the teams are involved, but Monday morning there's a big thing flying around social media where there's a Maryville sign over the bridge on out there on Alcoa Highway.
Yeah.
Welcome to the city of Maryville. That I'm going to guess that made the rounds on Monday, and everybody saw that. Do any of those things really impact the teams that much, or is it just more for everybody else at the
More
school?
for really the student section people. We don't get into that stuff, especially on Maryville week. We all locked in
and that's comforting to the coach, right?
Oh yeah, it's always nice when they do their talking on the field.
Because you don't want Blount County Sheriff's Office and
No, you don't want to be bailing any of your players out on Thursday night.
for there's no animals to steal, but painting things that shouldn't be painted,
Yeah.
etc.
I mean, I got to give it to him. It was clever. It was a clever thing to do, but it was like you said, it's more for the fans and really the students and the schools. It's just something fun for them to kind of do, and a little bit of bulletin board material maybe, but.
So, looking forward, you put this one in the rearview mirror. What you all turn around and start focus on next week? What is the big concern, and what do y'all have to do this week?
We're just focused on Pigeon Forge. We're going to watch some film this weekend, figure out what they do, and then we're going to get ready for West. I mean, West, we got another really good team. West might be as good, if not better, than Maryville. So, I mean, we've got, it was a dogfight last year, overtime, double overtime, I believe, 1-point game. We block a PAT, to seal that win, So we got a tough 2 weeks ahead of us for sure, and we're locked in and focused. And like you said, it's back to work.
Pigeon Forge being the region game, looks like maybe a better Pigeon Forge team. They had a pretty good battle with Sevier County last night. I know you don't want to look ahead, but we're going to ask you to look ahead because there's no guarantee we can get you back next week. Talking about West, that after last year's game, is there a motivation there, not Maryville level, but at least a similar get up for that game on the
yes,
team?
sir. I got hurt last year in that game, so I want to come back and make a memory.
Does the defense have something to prove after because West was able to move the ball last year?
Yeah, there's for sure motivation, because we feel like we should have won that game by a lot more than we did, for sure. So we're ready to play. I'm going to come to our place.
Coach, we don't want to comparing scores is always a trap, but it doesn't stop us from doing it occasionally. But you look at what Maryville did to Farragut and then what West did to Farragut, and we can't say that you're wrong. West may be a fairly good team, maybe better than Maryville this year.
They've got some athletes. They got some transfers in that, I believe their best player last year was hurt when we played them. So, that just feeds into it. We know that they're a better team than they were last year. They returned a whole lot of juniors from that team last year. We know they're good, and we're not going to overlook anybody on our schedule. It doesn't matter how good, how bad.
When you got that kind of test coming up, and I don't want to say Pigeon Forge is a trap game, but we'll just say you get through Pigeon Forge, you get to West. To get that kind of litmus test before you enter the stretch run, what are you all looking for when you get to that sort of game besides the win? How do you use that as a measuring stick?
We're always trying to get better. I mean, you get better every week, just 1% better. We tell our guys that in practice, and West they're really good. So we know that if we can go in and we can battle in that game, then getting to state should be, not as difficult. Because, I mean, that's what we want to challenge our guys to play hard teams, do hard things, and you get better. So, I mean, that's the reason we want to play teams like West. That's why we scrimmage McCallie. That's why we scrimmage Powell. We want our guys to play tough ball games. That way, when they're in a dogfight like last night, like in December, they react the way they're supposed to. They react the way we want them to.
Well, guys, we appreciate you getting up this morning, and congratulations on the big win. Jordan, we hope you feel a little bit better. Both of you guys, get some of those bruises out this week from all those hugs. And Troy, I guess we'll go ahead and turn the page.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcus. And when we return, we'll present the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. Wow. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Welcome back to the Goatee Sports page. This is the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week, and we are joined today by the Heritage Football Mountaineers, fresh off their Battle of the Bell victory over William Blount. We're joined by Heritage head coach Joe Ossavet, Chase Ridings, and Wesley Deck. And Joe, I just kind of want to start with, this is your first kind of introduction to this rivalry. Just kind of what was your conversations with the community like, and kind of how are you able to gauge just how big of a game this is for the community heading into Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, there was a buzz. Obviously, it started early last week, and me being new to all this, it was kind of amazing, the electricity that the the buzz, if you will, and the electricity that was at the game and leading up to the game. It was unique, definitely.
Chase, you've spent 3 years trying to get this bell back on campus. Just what did it mean to y'all to kind of close out the victory and kind of win this one finally?
It ain't never felt this good. We've been, like you said, trying to get this 3 years now. Our focus was to win the game, and obviously not really worry about the bell, and in the end, we would bring it home.
Wesley, kind of same question, but last year you were a quarterback for this and kind of watch William Blount celebrate on y'all's field and all that stuff. Just kind of how did it feel to kind of get payback in that respect and go out your senior year with probably the biggest win of y'all's career to this point?
It was good. We knew that we wanted to win the game and that we wanted that bell back at Heritage, and so we just knew we had to get it done.
Coach, most of this conversation is going to talk about the bell, but I do want to go back to last week and the win over Cott County. Just how big do you think that was for this program after an 0-10 last year to get a win and kind of build some momentum heading into this thing last night?
I mean, first off, I got this guy for another year.
Oh, that's right. Dex is junior.
So
I'm sorry, Wesley.
Don't push him off my plate too quick. He's just touching his, just getting him right. But yeah, last week it's, if you watch us play over the past 3 weeks, you kind of see the progression where we're taking this thing. And when I came on the show this past year and told you about a program and getting these guys to buy in and the work ethic was there, you kind of see the growth over the past 4 weeks with the Jamboree and our scrimmage versus TKA, and then obviously the past 3 weeks that we're starting to take strides, and we're nowhere near where we want to get yet, but we're just starting to scratch the surface of what this program could be. And kudos to my coaching staff, and kudos to these guys. I mean, they come in every day, don't ask why, and just come to work. And that's the kind of thing you need to do to get this thing up and running, and we're doing that. So huge win for us last week, and we need to use that as a platform to keep going. And I think we're doing that.
Chase, Coach and I talked a lot about this in the preseason, but just how important was it to get an early win in the season and kind of build y'all's confidence level after 0-10 last year?
The TKA scrimmage, that brought us a lot of motivation. Took the loss to Campbell County, which we needed, or we didn't need. That kind of hurt us. We needed to win that one.
Yeah.
But beating Cott County, that gave us a good stride to come to the William Blount game with a full-head steam.
Wesley, with one win under your belt, did y'all kind of feel a difference in that locker room coming back to practice on Monday?
Oh, yeah. We felt the confidence that we needed and the boost of energy from our coaching staff and us players.
Joe, y'all get off to a really fast start last night. Just kind of what went into the ability to, I think you jumped up 24 nothing, something like that, and just how important was it to get off to a good start?
Yeah, well, we preached about that all week of coming out fast and playing fast. We tried to use a little bit of tempo early on, and we had a lot of shot plays dialed up early to try to gain that momentum and get that thing off and running. The execution, we did a great job, I thought, early on. I think our coaching staff, we put a great game plan together to be able to do that, and we executed a high efficiency level in the first half. I probably got too conservative in the second half. Had some unfortunate miscues a little bit, a couple of snaps, a couple of penalties. We were chasing the sticks a little bit. But at the end of the day, in a football game, it's never going to be perfect. But having the ability with this team to come out and close things, which is something that they're not accustomed to do, and finish this thing off, I'm proud of that. And like I said, kudos to the entire our team, our staff. We closed it last night, which we needed to do, and get that win. So,
Chase, we talk about the celebration at the end there, but you were a big part in the start. 82 yards worth of touchdowns in that first quarter. Just kind of what was going so well in that passing game. What did y'all see from that William Blount secondary that kind of allowed y'all to have so much success early?
Me and Wesley, we noticed how the corners were playing me, and obviously up there in the box, Coach was making good play calls, and he just saw what me and Wesley were seeing, and we were able to connect those first 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Wesley, you and Chase was kind of your top target last year as well. Just how much do you think it has helped you that he kind of returns this year and both of you kind of get to grow in this system together, kind of knowing each other a little bit?
It helps a lot. I trust him. I know I'll throw it up to him. He'll catch it, but it starts with our coaching staff, and they'll get us the right plays and everything, and then me and him will execute.
Joe, just when you look at that second half, what were some of the things that you felt like we need to clean this up so that we can kind of try and rack up some more wins as this season concludes?
Yeah, I mean, you can't be chasing sticks. You got to be good on first down. And, a couple bad penalties set us behind the sticks a little bit. We had a couple of yipsies at the center spot. We need to get corrected. And two, they gave us a light box to run the football, and you're playing a 3 double cloud, 3 safety look. I mean, you got to take advantage and run the football. And we did that. So those are the kind of things. But as we move forward with this thing, I was happy with what we brought to the table last night. Clean up. I mean, a win's never going to be perfect, right? But we had to be able to run the football. I think we run the ball for 160-some-odd yards, which we haven't done in the first 2 games. And we're going to take what the defensive gives us. The unique thing about this offense is you can't take everything away. We'll have an answer. And we have a great coaching staff that will have an answer to find out what you're doing to us, how you're trying to attack us, and then counteract that. So we fix up some penalties, fix up not chasing the sticks, not having the center snap the ball over the head, and we'll be okay. But I'm proud of what we did, and I'm proud of our kids. Like I said, they bring their lunch pail to work every day, and I couldn't be more excited to deal with these kids in the next how many games and how many years I'm here. So I'm excited about it. I know the community was buzzing last night. I came back to the locker room. My phone had about 104 text messages, and I love what's going on over there. The administration's got my back. The community's got my back. These guys got my back. It's a great deal. And like I said, what's going on there, people are excited about, and we're excited about what's happening over there at Heritage. And it's amazing.
Joe, you mentioned that buzz, and obviously part of that is from what y'all did at William Blount, but also part of that is from what happened at Maryville last night. Just for you, kind of in this first year, just kind of what is it like to be a part of that night where it kind of seems like the 2 biggest games in maybe East Tennessee are being played and kind of all the focus is on this county? Yeah, I mean, just looking up into that stands last night and seeing it, I mean, I couldn't believe how many people were there for a high school football game. High school football up in New York is nothing like it is in the South. So, I mean, the passion, the energy, the electricity when the lights come on, it is a unique situation. And it's something that these kids will cherish for the rest of their lives. I know last night was a fun deal. We need to have more of those at Heritage High School. But, amazing atmosphere. Great for entire Blount County. I mean, amazing atmosphere.
But Coach, I'll tell you what, a win like that sometimes you want to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
But you got to start, which you did, and a win, and everybody starts feeling it better. And I know as a coach, it's so much easier to coach after a win than it is after a loss.
You got that right. Sure.
And they are listening to you.
Yeah.
And you know the mistakes we've made, and they can see them.
Yeah.
And it makes it easy to coach.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
You coach on the positive side.
Exactly right.
And it's kind of like putting your thumb in the tub of water. I mean, you get so tired of it, you say, there's got to be a way we can fix this.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
But I tell you what, that's a great feeling, and I'm proud for you guys.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's been an uphill battle. Really,
absolutely.
I mean, an uphill battle, and everybody's got to keep their armor on at all times.
Oh, absolutely.
But a win like that is so easy to coach after.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you have the ability to coach guys like this in our team, I mean, they don't blink. These guys don't blink, and they've asked. Like I said, the great thing about this bunch of men that I'm coaching over there is they don't ask why.
Yeah.
They just go and do it. They let us coach, and they just embrace it.
And then you see the result.
Exactly right.
And that's the whole key.
Well, absolutely.
It's the whole key to the thing.
Absolutely. And sometied it gets cloudy. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
That's exactly right.
Coach, how would you? We talked about repetition, some of the things being easier, but how would you rate the victory formation progression from win 1 to win 2? Were you all better at celebrating the win 2 than win 1?
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this. I always said this. You win or lose, you want to do it with class. And they're not accustomed to it. Let's call a spade a spade. They've done a great job of doing that and understanding. And our staff has preached that. We've preached that. No matter what happens, we're going to do this thing the right way. And we're going to win with class. And they've done that. They've done that. So it feels good when you line. It's the best formation in football. I love when we can do that. So, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Chase, I want to take you back to the beginning of the year, and Wesley and I have talked about this, but obviously y'all go from the offense y'all ran last year to the offense you're running now in a very stark contrast in the two. Just what was it like for you, maybe the hardest thing that it took to pick up, and just how excited were you to kind of be a receiver in a kind of up-tempo offense?
I mean, Coach Oz, when he came here, we knew we were going to have a lot to handle. They threw a lot at us. We just had to embrace it and make the best of it and try to learn on the fly. We made mistakes, we get yelled at, and we fixed it and try not to make the same mistake again.
Coach, I can't remember the last time Heritage had a winning streak, but you get to kind of defend that now against Central next week. Kind of what challenge do the Bobcats possess?
Run the football real well. Dual two-quarterback system. We got to do a real good job of doing what we do. I always say this, it's a faceless opponent. It's always going to be about what we do on our side, and it's never going to be about the other team, regardless of who we're playing. So we're going to go out to execute, create explosive plays, create turnovers, be solid on special teams, and usually the outcome is pretty good when you can do those things. It's always going to be about the execution, and we're never going to let the environment dictate the outcome. So we do those things and play the standard, we'll be okay.
Wesley, I want to get y'all out of here with this. Just where is the confidence level in this team this year heading to Knoxville Central than it was last year when y'all were getting ready to play the Bobcats?
Oh, our confidence level is higher than it has been since 2017, I'd say. Since it being a 2-game winning streak, we know that we have the talent, the coaches, the team to come out and win some more games.
Well, guys, we want to congratulate you again. I know it's a massive win for the community, and we hope to have you on again at some point later on in the year. But congratulations and best of luck the rest of the year.
Appreciate you guys having us on. Thank you, guys.
We'll go ahead and turn the page and get ready for the Sports Page Spotlight coming up.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union. With KTBA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
The Blue Tick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service.
Welcome back to the Goatee Sports page from Blue Tick Tavern in Maryville, home of the tastiest pizza in Blount County. And this, actually, I'm sorry, Donnie, I'm sending it to you for this week's sports headlines.
You are indeed, and we've got a few headlines for you here today. Well, Charlie, Major League Baseball's competition committee voted yesterday to implement 3 major rule changes to the game. The first, use of a pitch clock, which has been familiar to minor league pitchers for a few years now. With bases empty, the clock will be set at 15 seconds, and with runners aboard, 20 seconds. What do you think?
Well, honestly, it's from when I read about it, it's working in the minor league.
It is working in the minors.
Games are averaging between 2.5 hours and 2:45.
Yep, 30 to 35 minutes shorter games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say give it a shot. Why
I do
not?
too. Yeah, why not?
The only thing, this runners on base, the pitchers are going to be penalized if you throw over the first base too much.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Well, second rule change is the ban of defensive shifts in the infield. There must now be 2 infielders on each side of the second base bag with both feet on the dirt.
Hallelujah. Amen to that one.
Here's the thing about this, Donnie. One, I've been to a few Smokies games this year. Pitch clock does make the game so much faster.
It does.
It's not even noticeable, so it should be something baseball implements. And 2, Charlie, normally pitchers are against the shift, but because Charlie gave up so many fly balls over the wall, the shift didn't matter.
I wasn't a ground ball pitcher. Coach, you had something. You were going to say something.
No.
Okay.
All right.
The shift.
He wanted to make a Paleo joke, too.
The shift is,
I just beat him to
think
it.
that's one of the greatest things I've ever did. And then never got – it just –
got
we're not
too-
playing softball. We're playing baseball.
Right.
I think what started as a smart strategy became too much.
I
they
agree.
overused it to
They
the point
did.
where now, you almost never see a non-shift. The non-shift almost became the shift.
Tell me how many times you've seen a pitcher out there. He makes a great pitch. It's a routine ground ball with shortstop, but nobody's there.
There's
They're
not
all-
a shortstop.
They're all on the other side.
Yeah.
And look at his face, and he's like, "Are you kidding me?"
I know, really.
You make a great pitch, you get what you want, and there's nobody there.
Now, granted, it has attributed to more outs for pitchers.
No doubt. I don't
than
disagree
not,
with that. But that does happen, which
Yeah.
makes it very frustrating.
If because they've scouted him to, and they put the shift on.
Well,
All right.
I don't understand why you want to change that. Why would you want to change that? Because, like I said, if this guy, we go by he hits the ball 80% of the time over here, why do I want, everybody over here? I want to move them that way.
I think it's a way to get more offense in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Third rule change. There's going to be the use of larger bases. Now, what's up with that?
I don't understand that. They're
Keep
encourage steals.
first baseman from getting stepped on.
It's encourage steals.
Encourage stealing.
Because you have more to grab.
Okay.
You can
All
do more
right.
hook slides
the
and
Dolly
stuff
Parton
like
rule.
that.
Why don't we
I
short,
used to love the hook
why don't we
slide.
Why don't we shorten the bases to 45 feet and go back and play Little League too while we're at it? Bigger bases.
I don't think the bigger.
How about a bigger baseball bat so they can hit it the baseball easier?
I think
one of those big
Big
fat
w-
wiffle ball
wiffle
bats.
ball.
I also think the bigger bases is a safety thing because we're talking a lot about double plays and players on the bag and first baseman,
getting
all that
spiked
stuff.
and all
yeah,
that
I think
stuff.
they
Well,
try
we
to
don't,
avoid
Troy. We don't want to slide in too hard to second base now and hurt
There we go.
somebody. Let's eliminate the slide into second too now.
Well,
Pansy
those
baseball.
all three changes will be implemented in the 2023 season.
And
I think
don't
overall
So it's coming. They're coming.
and it's not going to work because the thing that slows down Major League Baseball that doesn't happen in the minors is TV timeouts for commercials. That's what
Yeah.
slows the game.
And it's to be noted that the players on the committee all voted against these rule changes.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw where some of them did that. Like
Yeah.
that. I didn't understand that.
I don't know.
Especially the shift. I would think they would vote against that shift.
Well, we'll see how,
If
how it
you're a
turns
player,
out.
yeah.
I think it's part of the game.
We'll see how it turns out.
I think when you move people around, that's like saying the tight end can't be more than 3 yards outside the tackle.
Right.
I mean, what's that do?
No, I think they have a right to move around in the shift. Like in the old days, you play a guy to pull, so the third baseman and the
right.
shortstop will be over. Or you play somebody up the middle, but it just got carried away.
It did. Well, here we go. Well, the NFL kicked off its season Thursday night when the Super Bowl champion LA Rams hosted the Buffalo Bills, and maybe wish they hadn't. Buffalo had their way with last season's champs, 31-10. Bills quarterback Josh Allen looked almost in midseason form, completing 26 of 31 attempts to 7 different receivers.
destroyed me in fantasy.
He had 297 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, led the team in rushing with 56 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Allen looks like an early favorite for the league MVP.
I agree.
Bills
he
made
looked
a
amazing.
statement.
And I have some money on Josh Allen to
Had
win
an
the
amazing
I had
game.
the Bills defense, 17 points, fantasy football. Pretty
Yeah, amazing. I tell you, they really took it to the champs, didn't they, the Rams? Well, the CFP, College Football Playoffs, now limited to the 4 top-ranked teams in the country, will be opened up to 12 teams beginning in 2026. ESPN, which now has the contract to televise the playoff games in the current 4-team system, pays a whopping $470 million to do so. According to financial experts, the price tag for broadcast rights when the CFP goes to 12 teams in 2026 could easily surpass $2 billion. The networks better start saving their pennies now.
Yeah.
Did you see what the Michigan coach thought about that Jim Harbaugh? He thought that
What'd he say?
with that kind of money, the players ought to get some kind of revenue
yeah,
share.
I agree.
He said that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Eliminate
He did
all
say
that
that.
NIL stuff and just give them TV money.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's not going to be one network. Nobody.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
see
one
ESPN
network
showing
could-
out $2 billion.
No.
It's going to break up that bowl monopoly. So I
I think
you're
you're
going
right.
to see Fox, and I think you're going to see CBS and ABC
I think you're right.
spending the money to
They may have to have a lottery to see
have
who
different.
gets,
It's going to look more like the NFL
gets
playoffs.
assigned that. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, here's your home run watch. Aaron Judge now has 55 on the season. Albert Pujols has 16 on the season, but more importantly, he has 695 in his career. He's number 5 on all-time home run list. Number 4 is Alex Rodriguez with only 1 more than that, 696. Number 3 is Ruth with 714. Number 2, Hank Aaron with 755. And number 1 with an asterisk by his name, in my humble opinion, Barry Bonds with 762. What do you think?
Judge got a chance.
I think Judge has a chance.
To win, to break Maris's record, American League record, I guess.
Yeah, and I think Pujols has a good chance at surpassing Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's discovered the fountain of youth over there.
He has, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's drinking that mist over the Mississippi River down there, maybe doing something. But he looks good.
He does.
Yeah.
They may not drink
I don't
that.
think I'd want to drink out of the muddy mist. Muddy
He doesn't go
Mississippi.
down there and get a cup of that every day.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
A little bit of racing news
Puts a little hair on your
for our
chest.
friend Mike, who's not with us today. He's up in Indiana.
Getting beat up by the Ball State Cardinals.
Yeah, no doubt. The NASCAR awards ceremony has been scheduled for Thursday, December 1st, at the Music City Center in Nashville to honor champions of the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series. NASCAR moved the awards ceremony to Nashville from Las Vegas a couple years ago. I'm glad it's in Nashville. Nashville's a happening city, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, that car racing, they like Nashville.
They
right?
do,
Didn't
yeah.
they have that big race down there over the summer?
Yeah,
right?
had that street race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
Nashville's
Grand Prix.
That's Marcus's hometown now.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it. If you have it in Nashville, you cut down any chances for any of those guys to be like, hey, you want to go out in the desert and see how fast we can go.
That's true.
No, they just get on I-65 and 70 or 40
Yes,
down there
but
and do the same thing.
that's what they're used to. They're driving in traffic. Everybody's car's the same, and they're all going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah,
Nashville
no doubt.
is crazy drivers.
It is.
They
No-
are.
yeah,
nuts. It is
wow.
nuts.
We call that the morning commute.
Oh, my.
Also, in honor of Mike, I have my own top 10 list today.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Yeah. These are the top 10 richest NFL quarterbacks ever. Top 10 richest NFL
Now, this
quarterbacks
is paid
ever.
the most. All,
No,
like,
the ones that
of
are
the length of the career.
worth the most.
Worth the
now,
most.
now,
Now.
as of now, currently. Coming in at number 10 is Aaron Rodgers. He is worth $140 million currently. Coming in at number 9, John Elway at $145 million. Number 8, Joe Montana. He's worth $150 million.
That's gone up a little bit with this Guinness contract.
I'd say
right?
you're right, yes. Number 7, Eli Manning at $150 million plus. Drew Brees is number 6. He's worth $160 million. Drew Brees. Number 5, Steve Young, worth $200 million. Steve Young. Boy, he's a good one. Coming in at number 4, Tom Brady, worth $250 million.
That's why he came back. He's not worth enough. He got to come back and get some more money.
He needed some more money. His wife wasn't making enough money, so
it's a little tight. Things are a little tight down there in Tampa.
She wasn't giving him enough allowance, so
No,
he had to come back and make some more money. Coming in at number 3, Peyton Manning, worth $250 million plus.
And just imagine if he didn't give all that money to Tennessee. How much it'd be worth.
No kidding. Coming in at number 2, surprisingly, Fran Tarkenton, old Minnesota quarterback.
He was the positive thinking. Wasn't he do all those talks?
Yeah, I was going to say, was there a TV show in the 80s that man was not on?
I don't think so.
What was the show that he was on? It was the, what was it that he did?
I don't remember.
It was one of those Ripley shows.
Yeah, it was.
Believe it or
wasn't
not, or
Yeah.
something like that.
And drum roll, number 1, Troy, you guessed this one, didn't you, under meetings Wednesday. Former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Roger Staubach. And he by a lot, by a whopping, he's worth a whopping $600 million.
Wow. He owns all of Dallas down
He
there.
does, yeah. He's made a lot of money in his time. Roger Staubach, congratulations. He's the all-time richest NFL quarterback ever.
Wait, let me ask you a question. How come everybody that's associated with Jerry Jones is rich except for you?
Who's to say Coach isn't?
I was a lineman.
Ray's just quiet about it.
Ray's not in any
Ray's
top 10
sneaky.
list now.
I don't put that out.
No,
you
he's
know?
just quiet. He's living quietly over in Farragut. He doesn't bother anybody.
He's minding his own business,
That's
aren't
it.
you, Ray?
Exactly right.
Good for you, Ray.
His horses may wear gold horseshoes, but you don't know that.
No, that's just a rumor. Well, that's it for this week's sports headlines. Back to Troy for the Sports Page Spotlight.
Indeed, we are. And we are going to talk about playoff race baseball, but I do want, because we didn't get to talk about some SEC football games here, I do want to talk about them. Ray, number 20, Kentucky, at number 12, Florida, appears to be the game of the week in the SEC. Kentucky coming off a 37-13 victory over Miami, Ohio. That was Troy's lock of the week last week. Hopefully he put some money on it and made some money last week because they were 13.5-point favorites, and I told y'all it was a guarantee. I do not lie to you. I do not lie to you.
When it comes to money?
And then Florida beat number 7 Utah, and for some reason, Ray, Florida, because they beat a Pac-12 team who nobody has given a darn about in a decade, they beat them, and then Florida went from unranked to number 12 in the country. Make sense of that for me.
No. That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, I can't. We took the Utes.
We haven't cared about the Pac-12 since Pete Carroll was at USC. That was in 2006.
But I watched the game, and
I don't know what that Utah quarterback was doing down there on the goal line. He threw it into triple coverage. He must have lost his eyesight or something.
Wasn't playing football, that's
No.
for sure.
I don't know, but even at that, Florida should not jump like that, and I think it hurts them more than puts more pressure on them for the first year coach. You like for that to come up just kind of 2 or 3, move them up 3 or 4 teams or something like that. But all of a sudden you jump to number 12. I mean, that's a joke.
That's a big jump.
That's a joke.
I wasn't really that impressed
with them.
Florida. I mean,
And I think
Utah had a
Florida
chance
plays
to.
that.
If they didn't throw that bad pass, that's a tie game, right? The game wasn't over.
It's a 6-point line. I think that's got to be a little bit of leeriness that maybe Florida jumped too far too fast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that as a coach. I mean,
Do you
all
think
of
you're
a sudden,
too good all of a sudden? Like,
all
boom,
of a sudden,
we're world beaters.
The quarterback.
Or egg beaters.
Their quarterback looked pretty good, though. Florida's quarterback.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson. He's a good quarterback. He can play.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't think they got the whole thing together yet. I mean, I think it's.
As far and Kentucky doesn't have their top running back today, right?
Don't have Rodriguez.
So I still like
Is he
Florida.
still out?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's out.
He's not going to play today?
No.
No.
I will say
What's
this.
wrong with
This
it?
is also, Marcus, this is a
Something
revenge game for
paperwork.
Florida. Florida never loses to Kentucky. Kentucky beat Florida last year. I'm sure Florida's got something.
And this game's in Florida
Yes,
too, right?
yeah.
And this is how that
Still like Florida.
rotating in the schedule kind of has some unintended consequences because that was a game that was when Florida was collapsing last year.
Right.
Now it's at the very front of the schedule, and it takes a whole different meaning at this point in the calendar than it did a year ago. So even if Florida was to repeat, that's not good for Kentucky because they're going to be that first test.
Ray, you touched on it a little bit there. Any concern Florida gets a little high today and drops the ball?
I tell you the thing that if you're the coach, you disregard that game and go back to the basics of building your team. And I think that coach has been around enough to know that this what shouldn't happen. And you got to bring them along this way. You're not going to jump from there to there in the SEC. Ask Vanderbilt. I mean, you're not going to do that. And so you might as well go back. If I were the coach, I'd go back just like we didn't win. And we go with the basics of what we're supposed to do and stay with it. You can't all of a sudden say, hey, we're good. We're good. Bull crap. You'll see.
Last game we'll touch on before turning it to baseball. South Carolina at number 16 Arkansas. Woo Pig Suey. And Ray, big win for Arkansas last week against number 23 Cincinnati, 31-24. South Carolina struggled out the gates a little bit against Georgia State, found their footing there in the second half. What does Arkansas need to do to improve to 2-0 and 1-0 in the SEC?
Where is this game?
This is at Arkansas.
Go ahead, Coach.
Well, you got to go. The thing is second guessers. You got to go out there and play your game. If you play your game, Arkansas wins. If they go out there thinking, that this is a Kentucky, the old Kentucky, this is no big deal. I mean, Kentucky could beat you.
Sneak up on them.
South Carolina.
South Carolina
yeah.
could sneak up on them.
Especially with Rattler at quarterback.
Yeah,
he struggled a little bit in week 1.
He struggled, but you know what he's capable of.
Do we? Look, I've been on this mountaintop all year. We don't know what that kid's capable of. He got benched last week in week 1, and he was not good last week against Georgia State. I think Spencer Rattler's is a very overrated quarterback. That's fine.
Well, I agree. I agree with you.
He's done nothing in his college career to this point.
I see how you line up that little underhand pitch for Troy to just take a big old swing at.
And swing
that's,
and miss.
That's how it's done.
He usually swings and misses it.
But I think Arkansas ought to win the game.
It's a home game. I have to go with Arkansas.
I do have one question for you. Do you feel like Arkansas is leaning on KJ Jefferson, their quarterback, a little bit too much?
Yep, I do.
Kind of like Tennessee a little bit.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. When you count on your quarterback, and this, I mean, that guy's a pretty good quarterback. I agree, but when
he needs some
they
help.
start making him run the ball and run the ball and run the ball, it takes away a quarterback's efficiency. You go to pounding on him down there, and it takes its toll. People don't realize it, but those damn tackles, down, bam, bam, all the time. I mean, it daws on you, and you're trying to run the ball. That's the thing that I don't think Arkansas stops them from being really a top team, is they don't have a great running back.
Yeah.
They used to have the great running backs, but they have not had that in a while. And it could be. It all depends on the thought process. If you go out there and play their game, Arkansas should win the game by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
But if they go out there thinking we're playing old Kentucky here, they could get beat.
Other games on the SEC schedule: Alabama at Texas at noon, Wake Forest at Vanderbilt at noon, Missouri at Kansas State at noon, Appalachian State at Texas A&M at 3:30, Samford at Georgia at 4, Central Arkansas at Ole Miss at 7, San Jose State at Auburn at 7:30, Southern at LSU at 7:30, and Mississippi State at Arizona at 11 p.m.
I tell you, the game is going to be interesting. Texas A&M game in Appalachian
State gave North Carolina all they could handle last week. What a football game.
It was a football game? I thought they were playing a basketball game.
Oh, boy. What a game.
But Appalachian State's going to Texas A&M better think twice on that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
better buckle it up.
Because I tell you what, they're pretty good football.
Yeah, didn't they put 40 points up in the fourth quarter of that game?
It was amazing.
Well, Charlie, we're gonna switch to a little baseball here, and I don't think you can talk about baseball right now without talking about your neck of the woods and what the state of New York is doing on the diamond right now, because it is Choke-a-Palooza right now in New York.
I'd like to see the headlines in the New York papers, what they're doing between the Yankees and the Mets. I mean, the Mets now, the Braves overtook them.
They both had 10-game leads at one point in this season.
The Braves are in first place. First time the Mets have been out of first place since April.
Braves are up half a game, and the Yankees are up 3.5. They've kind of built it a little bit.
Yeah, the Yankees are only up 2 in the loss column, which I look at more than anything. The Yankees, they could even blow the whole playoffs.
They don't have the pitching.
No, they haven't had pitching in the last
And
few
a lot
years.
of their hitters have overachieved throughout the year, and they're starting to dip, with the exception of Judge. Judge has obviously been remarkable this year, but he only gets to bat once every 9 tries.
Mm-hmm. So a good stat that Donnie brought up, the 55 homers by Aaron Judge, and they were playing the Twins the other night. And Judge had 55 homers. Take a guess how many home runs the other 8 guys had in the lineup combined.
Oh, wow.
Well, Isaiah Kiner Falefa hasn't hit a home run since he was playing middle school softball, so I'm going to say, like 44.
40 home runs between the other 8 guys. One guy's got – now, if the Yankees win, Aaron Judge is the MVP. There's no doubt, because without him,
they would be where the Red Sox are currently.
No, and the Mets, they need Jacob deGrom to pitch every game for them.
Scherzer being hurt.
Yeah,
that stings.
I think they're both going to blow it, and the Mets will still get in the playoffs. But my prediction is the Yankees could fade all the way down to number 4 in the American League and lose a playoff spot, because Tampa Bay is playing well. They may end up winning the division. Seattle, and then also Toronto can sneak in, and the Yankees could be be the 4th playoff team.
Why would you not walk?
That's it,
Judge. I'd walk him every time he comes to the plate.
Yeah, if you don't have to pitch to him, why would you?
Right.
The other guys can't hit.
That's right. They can't. He'd walk. I'd put him on the base because he's not going to steal.
No,
I'd just walk him.
Remember way back when Bonds was hitting all his home runs? They were walking him with the bases loaded. They didn't care.
And those are kind of the 2 big divisional races right now.
Yeah.
I do want to say it doesn't feel, and maybe I just haven't been in tune with baseball as of much lately since college football started. It doesn't feel like anybody's really talking that much about the Dodgers. They're looking on pace for 110 wins.
And they got Kershaw back and looked good. He's been pitching well. I like that. They have him back, and they've got I think they've got 3 guys in the rotation right now with at least 14 wins.
I mean,
and that's even with Walker Buehler being out with the rotator,
they look like a
with the elbow surgery.
They look like an absolute
Yeah,
machine.
but you know the Braves went and took 2 out of 3 from them in Atlanta, I guess it was.
And that's kind of looking at what the CS is going to be again. It's going to be Braves Dodgers.
I like the National League no matter what. I don't see anybody in the American League.
I agree. I like the
knocking
Astros.
somebody off. Well, they're the best team in the American League.
They're the only AL team that has a chance, in my opinion.
And they've got really good, with Verlander coming back, they've got really, really good, talented pitchers in their rotation. But I don't know if they'll hit enough with these like a team like the Dodgers or the Braves.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just feel like nobody's talking about the Dodgers, and they're looking remarkable.
Yeah, it's National League this year again. If it's
Yeah,
the Braves, Dodgers, you know, maybe the Mets if they get that far. I don't know, but I don't. Like I said, I don't see the American League knocking them off in the World Series.
Well, my friends, that's all we got. Get your bold predictions ready, because that's what we're going to next.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today: call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the sports page from Blue Tick Tavern, and we're here with another week of picking some games. And last week, I'm saddened to say that me, Marcus, and Mike, we fell on the short end of the stick. We're at the bottom of the standings, boys. 2-3 last week. I will say, I did pick Cincinnati, but that was with my heart. I actually put my money on Arkansas last week and won, so I'm counting that as a half victory. I went 2.5 and 2.5 last week. Donnie Moore, 3-2, middle of the pack.
3-2. Well, not too bad.
Our
60%.
esteemed Ray Trail is in the lead right now at 4-1. Tony Iruli, our guest picker, also went 4-1 last week, and this week we introduce our guest picker. He brought all of his headgear like Lee Corso. Charlie Paleo
I'm ready.
is here. And we're going to start this thing off with South Carolina at Arkansas. Arkansas -9. Remember, we're taking spreads, not taking overall winners. Marcus, Arkansas -9 at home against South Carolina.
Arkansas will cover this one.
Okay. Charlie.
I think Arkansas will win, but I think South Carolina is going to cover the spread. I'm going to pick South Carolina with the points.
What is wrong with you Shane Beamer lovers? I don't know what's wrong with you. Ray, come on, tell us. You know you're going to Arkansas.
Arkansas.
You're darn right. Donnie?
Yeah, the Hogs will cover the points. They'll win that one easily. I think fairly easily.
Here's the thing, guys. I've said it all year. I said it last year. I'm not buying South Carolina. That stock to me is on the floor. I'm taking Arkansas. I'm taking Arkansas on a route. Moving on to the one everybody cares about. Tennessee at Pitt. Tennessee's a 6-point favorite. Marcus?
Wow, we're starting with me again. Why can't we do the rotating SEC schedule
Well,
here?
because I have it in a list, and so it's easier for me to type in for prosperity.
For prosperity? Well, for prosperity's sake, I don't see Tennessee pulling off. I think Pittsburgh goes to 4-0 outright, so I'm going to say Pitt.
Okay, he's going with Pitt. Charlie.
Oh, this game's over at halftime. Tennessee.
I don't even know why I asked you.
Tennessee at it's 31-7 at halftime.
Ray Trail. I know you believe in the Vols today.
I do.
You do.
Yeah, that's who I picked.
Ray Trail's taking the Vols. Donnie?
What are the Vols are a 6-point
Vols
favorite?
are a 6-point favorite.
Boy, I tell you what, I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I think Tennessee will cover the points.
Okay. I am also taking the Vols to win. I think they win by double digits, but I will say my lock of the week this week, over 64.5. If you haven't placed your bets already, I don't know what you're doing. That is a guaranteed winner. There's no way.
What's that, the over-under?
Over-under. Over 64.5 points. There's no way it doesn't happen.
Pittsburgh better bring Dan Marino back if they want to get there.
No.
Alabama -21 in Austin, Texas, facing the Longhorns. Marcus?
Alabama covers this.
Roll Tide. Charlie?
Yeah, Alabama and Sarkisian saying wait till next year when Archie Manning Jr. shows up.
Ray? You taking Alabama? Mm-hmm. Okay. Donnie?
Tide in the points.
Man, I'm trying to avoid these clean sweeps, but I'm also going Alabama. I know in the preseason I said...
It's hard to be bold when you put that game out
I know.
there.
I thought maybe some people would take Texas. I don't know. It's a lot of points.
How many was there again?
Texas isn't a chump. 21? Texas isn't chump.
7-5 last year.
Yeah,
but they were also a choke monster last year.
I picked Texas to make the playoff. I regret it more and more every day. I'm taking Alabama in the points because I think it's going to get ugly.
You've learned your lesson.
Alabama looks like the second best team in the country right now. And I know Georgia looked really good last week. I think they're the best team in the country. But, 1 and 2 to me are so separate from whoever's next. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyone.
That I just think the gap is too big. Kentucky at Florida. Florida with a 6-point favorite today. Marcus.
I'm going to say the Gators are going to cover. I don't think they're as good as they're ranked, but I think they're better than Kentucky.
Okay. Charlie, this is a tough one. This one is really, really tough.
You know, I would like Kentucky if they had that running back. Was it Rogers?
Rodriguez.
What's he doing?
It's some NCAA violation or something like that going on.
I think he's suspended.
He's been in the last 2 or 3 games. He's got to sit out. That's a tough. I'm going to go with Florida in the swamp.
Okay. Ray?
I'm going to go with Kentucky.
You're going to go with Kentucky?
Yeah.
To win outright or cover the points?
It doesn't matter. If they win outright, they cover the points. It doesn't matter.
Gators playing at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. I'm going to go with the Gators in the points.
I personally feel as though Kentucky will cover this one. I'm going to go back to what I saw something in the preseason, all right? Because you have to realize that this man, he only says words from the Word of God. And Tim Tebow, before the season, declared Will Levis, Kentucky's quarterback, the second best returning quarterback in the SEC. If Tim Tebow said it, how can I go against it? Will Levis leads the Kentucky Wildcats to another win over Florida today.
Big prediction.
Yeah, that's what
bold.
That's what we're
bold.
That's what we're here.
Bold prediction.
He'll say that. I will see what he actually bets on.
That's what we're here for. We're here for bold predictions, Charlie.
Okay.
And this one, we'll wrap up our thing here. Appalachian State at Texas A&M, and we talked about it in the last segment. Appalachian State gave North Carolina everything they could handle, 61 points, 40 points in the fourth quarter. I think part of that is because UNC is a terrible football team. I don't remember who they have this week, but I might pick against them today. But A&M didn't look very good last week against Sam Houston State. As bad as I feel, Ray, about my Texas playoff pick, all the Texas A&M people who picked Texas A&M in the playoff should feel just as bad. They ain't getting there. That was Sam Houston State. You got to beat them by more than Texas A&M did. But this one is interesting. Texas A&M at home. 18.5-point favorite.
18.5.
It's tough because do you believe in Texas A&M to be the team that everybody thinks them to be?
I don't believe in Texas A&M, but
you don't believe in Appalachian State.
Texas A&M is not UNC either.
This is the toughest. This is the toughest line in all of college football this year.
18.5.
It's tough.
I'm going to say App State covers.
Okay.
I'm going to say they get within 14.
Charlie.
I'm going to go with Marcus. Appalachian State in a close game will win with the points.
Appalachian State. Okay. Ray, what do you got? This is a tough one. You picked A&M to make the playoff here. You need a bounce-back victory.
I'm going to pick Texas A&M.
You're going to pick A&M. Donnie Moore.
A&M wins the football game, but Appy State covers.
It's
going to be a closer game.
Who's the kid from Powell that's over at A&M now?
Walter
lineman?
Nolan.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. I got no earthly idea what to do here. This one's
It's a tough
tough.
one.
That's never stopped you before.
You need to
I
be
know.
bold. You need to be bold and make a statement.
Well, none of you picked Appalachian State to win the football game.
I don't see that.
So that's where you're going?
No, that's not where I'm going. I'm going to lean on the side that last week was an aberration for Texas A&M. I am going to say that they overlooked Sam Houston State, that they didn't get fully prepared. Ray talks all the time about
they
how
overlooked Sam
For
Houston
Appalachian
State.
State?
I mean,
Appalachian
you know what I'm
State.
saying is that yes, Appalachian State's a good football team. They beat Michigan like 15 years ago
They are.
on a blocked field goal. Ray talks all the time about how it's hard to get up for those types of games against Sam Houston State or whatever the heck they are. I think Texas A&M bounces back this week and puts it on Appalachian State and humbles the Mountaineers a little bit. I hate to say that because my guy DJ Burks plays at Appalachian State, but that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Texas A&M.
How about the big game with, is it in Nashville? Vandy and Wake Forest?
Yeah, I was going to put that on there, but I don't think any of us believe in Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's.
I believe in Vanderbilt. I believe they're going to lose.
Wake Forest is okay. This is not on the schedule, but this one doesn't make any sense to me. How is Wake Forest, which gets its quarterback back this week, by the way, in Hartman, I can't remember his first name at the time, a top 25 team in the country, is only a 13.5-point favorite against Vanderbilt?
Because people still don't know what to make of Vanderbilt's win at Hawaii.
I do. I watched Hawaii last week. They're horrible. That might be the worst team in the country.
They're not in the country.
Well, they are. They're just
They're
not,
on the
they're not
island.
in the continental country. Vanderbilt is going to get slaughtered in this game. If I can make a second lock of the week, it's that you put all your money on Wake Forest
what
minus
is the line?
13.5.
They're giving Vandy 13.
Wake Forest going to win this game by 30.
Didn't they win the ACC last year?
Yes. Vanderbilt beat Elon in Hawaii. I don't understand what is going on here.
Vandy's making their move.
Well, here's the thing. If Vanderbilt somehow finds a way to upset Wake Forest today, all 48 Vanderbilt fans in that stadium will have just a rockin' good time.
You not stick up for your hometown school?
I have no hometown school. Vanderbilt's not a.
Markston, Vanderbilt.
He's from Nashville.
Tennessee.
No, Vanderbilt's
Tennessee
on
is Nashville's
23rd. That
hometown
is not
school.
Nashville.
Tennessee is Nashville's hometown school. Nobody cares about Vanderbilt.
My daughter graduated from Vanderbilt.
Real athletic school.
I know. She played half. You can ask her. Anytime they played an SEC team, they were visitors in their own arena.
That's awful. Poor Vandy.
No, not poor Vandy. They deserve it.
I think they're turning around.
So you're picking them to beat Wake Forest today?
With the points?
No, you're taking it with the points.
Yeah.
I'll give you. I'll put.
Take 14 in
I'll
Vandy.
I'll give Vandy a 14-point lead right now. They take the
Okay.
field and they're losing by 20.
They got 60 on Hawaii. And Hawaii, Marcus says,
I didn't say Hawaii. I just said nobody knows what to make of that game.
3, 4, 5. Count Lon's spirit and rest in peace. Tony Iruli, if we can get him from Franklin Pierce. We can find 4 people here in this bar. Add that to the group that I just said. We'd go beat Hawaii right now. We could fly out to Hawaii. We'd beat them right now.
Well, if you're flying us out to Hawaii, I'm game.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I'll go get beat up at Hawaii for a while.
We'll
Let's go there and get beat up for a
we'll
week.
need 3 weeks of practice before.
Hey, getting beat up by Hawaii in Hawaii is much better than Mike Edwards tonight in his celebrity boxing match against David Letterman as he gets pounded out by the talk show host.
So, Troy, you call the Smokies, call TVA Employee Credit Union, call Shelter Insurance, see if we can get our package put together for us to go 3 weeks of practice, and then we'll play Hawaii.
Let's go do it. Well, guys, I hope I didn't screw the show up too much. Mike, come back. This is a lot harder than Mike makes it look. It is. It's hard being in this seat. But that's all we got today. And, Donnie, blow that whistle.
I'll give it a blast.
That was a good one.
It was, wasn't it?
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the Goatee Sports Page. The best in local sports since 1978.